Hey, welcome to episode 6 of Rad Repairs, and I'm going to be taking this NES-2 or NES-101, whatever you'd like to call it, and I'm going to be converting its RF connection, and I'm going to be converting it to RCA. I got this neat kit on eBay. I have left a link in the description below. The seller is awesome and very nice and provides a step-by-step tutorial on how to do this. And we're also going to be adding an LED to the power switch. The power switches on these don't light up, but mine will after this tutorial. So let's get started. Go ahead and flip your console over, and we're going to take out 4 game bit screws that are 4.5 millimeter. Once you've got the screws out, we're just going to gently lift the top off. Inside there are 5 more screws that we need to take out. These 2, this one, and this one. This is just a regular Phillips head though. Just take off the aluminum cover, and the whole board will just take right out. Now there are 2 screws to take off the heatsink for, and one on the inside. There's 2 more screws to loosen up the back panel. Once you've got the 2 screws removed from the back panel, it's time to desolder the power connector. You can use a solder sucker or a desoldering iron if you have one. Right, once you get your solder out enough, you should be able to rotate it down and away and pull the old board there out. So you can see how this is built into one single piece, and that's why we had to take that out without being able to take the plastic away from the RF connection and where the power was soldered in. Alright, the next thing we need to do is work on our RF connection, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the power connection. Lots of heat. These are ground, so they're going to need a lot of heat out of your soldering iron. Once you've removed the solder from the 3 ground areas, now it's time to remove the solder from the 3-dot pins to actually be able to get the RF modulator out. Once you've removed all the solder from the RF modulator, from the ground points and the 3 pins, all you have to do, gently take it out. Let's take a look at our new connector that we have. Now you can see it's got several wires hanging off of it, and the eBay seller, who obviously 3D prints these, has provided all the circuitry and wiring, and everything's already stripped so that we're ready to actually do the install. There are 4 wires. Red is for power, gray is for audio, green is for the PPU, and black is for ground. So we're going to be using those 3-hole that we cleaned out last as part of the RF modulator's removal, and you can see that this far right one is actually going to be our red wire. This far left one is going to be our gray wire, and we'll actually just use this hole right here, which was ground, for, well, ground. We're going to use that for ground again for these. And we'll talk about the green wire and what it does pretty soon. Alright, there's something to note about these NES-101 models. When it's connected via RF, it gets these things that people call jail bars. They're vertical lines that go across the screen, and it's noticeable. It's not detrimental to gameplay or anything, but most people don't like them. Now, so there are 2 ways to do this add-on with AV, and one of those is to actually go ahead and solder this green wire right here in between the red and the gray. And while that will work, You'll also get jail bars with this method. Now the second option is to actually cut pin 21 off of the PPU, which is actually this pin over here on the side, and pull it up and solder the green wire to pin 21 of the PPU, and it will not get the jail bars, and that's what I'm going to do because I don't want them. You'll notice that the seller also has included a very long green wire, and that is in case you wanted to do that. So that's very nice because it will wrap around the board and go to pin 21 on the PPU very nicely. Optionally, if you don't want to, then just clip it to the same length as your red and your gray cable there and go right inside that third hole in the middle, and you'll be good to go. So you're going to want to use some very low profile snips for this, and try to get in here and do not scratch the board. There are connections that run through the board very close, so do your absolute best. Alright, there we go. It took a little bit more doing. My snips weren't quite short enough, but I was able to, with the help of desoldering a little bit on the bottom and a very, very fine point flathead screwdriver from electronics kit I have, get pin 21 up. So now we'll continue on with our mod, swing our green cable around to the side, and get it soldered onto pin 21. Alright, let's go ahead and get our new 3D printed board attached back to where it's going to live. Once you get the left side plugged in, go ahead and grab the power adapter connection that comes with the kit and go ahead and place that in. Once that's in, now it's time to actually add some solder to the power connection. You should be able to just put some pressure on it from the bottom as you do this. It will stay pretty close into place. It has some wiggle room inside the hole, so as long as it's being held in place by the actual housing here, you shouldn't have to put too much pressure on it. Alright, you can take a look at your handiwork at this point. You should have something that looks like this. We're going to end up moving this cable. It'll be nice and tucked out of the way when we put it back inside. So if you got this far, you should be pretty darn proud of yourself. Nice work. And now it's time to add our LED light to our power button. You're going to need to take out your power button, flip it over, press the pins in, push down, and the button will pop right out. There is a small indentation right here, has a little bump there, and we're going to actually make a very small hole to where we can insert our LED into that hole and glue it in place with some hot glue. I'm going to take my smallest drill bit here, and I'm going to kind of use my hands to go ahead and try to get kind of a starter hole going. It doesn't need to be a very big hole. It's a pretty small LED, but when you use a power tool, you definitely want to have some type of starter hole so that your drill isn't flying all over the place, especially with slick plastic like this. I also suggest using your smallest bit first, and then you can slowly go up from there. Perfect. Oh, that'll work great. All right, let's get our light in there. All right, once you've got the wires glued down for the LED, we need to solder these two red and black wires onto our power switch. Because every time you flick the power switch on, it sends power not only to the system, but also to our little LED. So the power switch is located on the bottom left. It's right here. So you flip that over and we're looking at this corner right here. Now our ground is going to be this guy, and our lead is going to be this first pin here of these 4. Alright, we've got all of our pieces soldered together. We've got our new device all nice and tucked in. All we're going to do is put everything back together. Alright, once you've got your top cover on, before you screw anything in on the inside, other than our heatsink, which I did, make sure that your 21 pin wire is actually going underneath and through the whole opening here to keep it from getting pinched underneath or pinched under the 72 pin connector. Alright, let's do a power LED check. That looks awesome. I'm gonna go plug this in, give it a check, I'll come right back. All right, I'm back from the test. It looks great. There's no jail bars. I'll tell you what, this is a worthwhile mod. So check out that link in the description to the eBay seller. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button for me. I'll see you next time on Rad Repairs.